I want to welcome everyone back to the podcast. I'm Kristin Phillips-Hill, and today we are diving into something that I personally love, and that is exploring York County's incredible trail system. So whether it's biking, walking, or just spending some time outside, our trails offer the whole package. They connect people, they power our local economies, and they preserve the history and the beauty of our communities. So joining me today is Gwen and Frank Kempf from the York County Rail Trail Authority. They are the force behind so much of the progress that we have seen over the years on trails, like the Heritage Rail Trail and the ever-growing and popular Hanover Trolley Trail. So Gwen and Frank, it is so great to talk to you. Thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for inviting us. It's it's something that's near and dear to both Gwen and my heart, and it's always a pleasure to talk about the trails in York County.
Indeed. Well, let's start with the big picture. So most people know about the Heritage Rail Trail. It runs straight through the heart of York County. But the York County Rail Trail Authority has been working on a much larger vision. Can you share how the Hanover Trolley Trail fits into the broader rail trail network that you're building in York County?
Sure, I'll take a stab at that one. As you said, the Heritage Rail Trail, it's almost 30 miles long from the Maryland border to John Rudy Park, and it's really a gem in terms of an attraction in York County. The Hanover Trolley Trail will just be an adjunct to that, or another piece in the trail system that again will provide a bigger recreational facility, or a larger and expanded, I guess, recreational facility, particularly serving the areas in the southwest part of the county that don't really have much of a trail system to begin with. So that Hanover Trolley Trail eventually will connect to the Heritage Rail Trail. In the meantime, we're building pieces of it, starting from Hanover and then starting also from Spring Grove and moving towards York. And again, sort of piece by piece, mile by mile, as we can get funding for each system or for each section, we're putting it on the ground. And with the idea that it will be an interconnected trail system at one point in time.
Well, the Hanover Trolley Trail, I think, is such a great example of reimagining our history. I know it follows the path of that former trolley line that once linked Hanover to York in the early 1900s. And of course, this summer, we were all together marking a major milestone, and that was a brand new section opened in Heidelberg Township. So what does this latest progress mean for the overall project, and where exactly are we headed?
Okay, well, again, the project that you're referring to was about a mile-long section in Heidelberg, as you said, of the Hanover Trolley Trail, moving east from Gitz Run Road. And that section is open now, as you said. An adjacent section moving further to the east is under construction, and that'll take the project, or the Hanover Trolley Trail, as far as Jacobs Mill Road. Along the next section to be open, which will be open in the fall of this year, there's a beautiful, beautiful stream restoration project. Actually, we did half of it in 2024 and the other half in 2025. It's immediately adjacent to the Hanover Trolley Trail. And it'll be a real attraction, especially for birders, people that just look at environmental features and wonder and amaze a bit. It'll also be a great stream water quality project. There was segveral grantors that were very interested in water quality, and that's who supplied a lot of the money to do this section. But again, it's segmental pieces as we're pushing towards York, as we're pushing towards an eventual connection with the Heritage Rail Trail.
So one thing that I absolutely love about our trails is how they've helped grow trail towns. Places like Glen Rock and Seven Valleys and New Freedom. You can stop for coffee, you can stop for lunch, you can shop small. There's several breweries, there's a winery, you can take in all of these businesses and attractions after you ride or you walk. And I was really proud to be able to work with the York County Economic Alliance, getting the seed money to get that started. And it's got a lot of momentum. It's really making a difference. It's been so incredible to watch how people have embraced the Trail Towns program. Are we starting to see that same momentum building around the Hanover Trolley Trail in towns like Spring Grove and in Hanover?
I think that's one that I'm going to take. And I think that the first response has to be a lot of the momentum that's building is building from individual residents right now. We saw that at the Hanover Snacktown Street Fair. There's just so many, future visitors and current visitors of the Hanover Trolley Trail that are asking a lot of questions. So I think that that's a big sign of momentum. And then in Spring Grove, we're seeing it. Just a few years ago, the borough did a beautiful streetscaping project on Main Street that really is going to make it wonderful to come off of the Hanover Trolley Trail and walk along Main Street. And we are seeing, some of those businesses, improve their street frontage, which is so nice to see. And then in Hanover, we have to mention the breweries. They're popping up in Hanover, and they're all showing a lot of enthusiasm and waiting, for the Hanover Trolley Trail to get long enough to make it worthwhile for people to come over and spend a few hours on the trail and then visit those towns. So it's coming now from the individual people and also from the businesses. It's good to see.
Exciting. I was there with you all at the Hanover Snacktown Street Fair, known to many people as Dutch Days in the past. But I saw your tent, walked by a couple times. It was very busy, and I could tell you were engaged with so many people, and that's exciting. I think it's really amazing that while we're building something new, we're also honoring what came before. And that is those old rail and trolley lines that really helped build York County's economy around 100 years ago. And now what we're seeing is that economic revitalization is being driven by those same rail lines. They're doing it all over again, but in a new way. So we've got the Heritage Rail Trail stretching from Maryland Line to downtown York and points north. Now we've got this emerging east-west corridor with the Hanover Trolley Trail. The hope being that we're going to get it from Hanover into York, right through Spring Grove. What's the long-term goal here? Is the hope that we're going to be able to eventually connect more of the county through these kinds of trails?
Yeah, honestly, we have just recently developed a scope of work for a feasibility study and what would be the best route, basically, to connect the Hanover Trolley Trail to the Heritage Rail Trail. The original Hanover Trolley Trail line went, as you said, started in Hanover, went through Spring Grove, went through Bear Station, went into West York, and basically followed sort of along Market Street down into the center of York. That's really not a viable trail route anymore, but we do believe that there is a viable trail route to connect Hanover Trolley Trail with the Heritage Rail Trail, basically along the Cadorus Creek. And the thing that makes that appealing is that almost all of that land is in public ownership, either the Corps of Engineers or the Pennsylvania Game Commission, and we see a real possibility of getting a right-of-way through there to make that really critical connection. It's probably about 8 miles long to connect the two trails, but again, we need to do a feasibility study to determine really what is the best route, how much it was going to cost, what's a reasonable schedule to build it. But that's a really exciting part of the work that we're doing now.
Well, that's really exciting because I can tell you that I've talked to people who use these trails for so many reasons. Training for marathons, recovering from surgery, some people just finding a little peace and quiet. During COVID, I was amazed at the people that I would meet on the trail. They usually had sort of a quizzical look. Where can I find a restroom? Where's the closest restaurant? You sort of knew they looked like they needed help. But so can you share with us some of the stories that you've heard from folks who are native York Countyans, folks who are from outside of York County and beyond, that really capture what these trails mean?
The first thing I noticed, a lot of times I might stop and ask somebody when I'm walking on the trail. I might ask them like where they're from. And I always think they're going to say like Glen Rock, New Freedom, York.
Sure.
But so often they'll say like New Jersey, North Carolina, Maryland. It's just amazing. And sometimes there are people who are visiting the Heritage Rail Trail in particular, but it's only a portion of what they're riding. They might be riding from New York City to Chicago or something like that. And they're on just a portion of our trails as they travel through. And I find that just amazing that people are doing these long distance rides, but they're incorporating a few miles of York County rail trails in their journey, which I think is interesting. I'll share one more quick little story. And I've also run into veterans who always take a certain day out of the summer and they join their buddy veterans. And I met them down in Glen Rock and they were doing a bike ride. And it's something they do every year. I thought that was kind of cool. Nice way to
Really
reconnect.
cool.
Yeah. The most recent one just surprised me totally. It was just last week. I came to the office and there was a bicycle parked on the front porch of Hanover Junction, and tied to it was a little fluffy blue frog, somebody's toy. And it was
not a real frog. It was a pet. It was a
yeah.
I didn't know we had fluffy blue
animal.
frogs in Southern York County.
Yeah, it was fluffy. It was blue. It had white dots on it, and it was about 15 inches high. And it was tied with some bungee cords to the pack on the back of this lady's bike. And I asked her, I said, do you mind if I take a picture of that? Because it's the whole theme of come to the trail with a friend, because that's what she was doing. And she said, sure, you can take a picture of it. And she didn't say anything else to me for a minute or two. And then her husband chimed in and she said, I have to tell you, her husband said, we lost our daughter at age 29. And this was her favorite toy. So this little blue frog with the white polka dots comes with us when we visit rail trails around the state. And I thought I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
I absolutely did not expect it. And I thought, what a wonderful way for, husband and wife to spend their time together,
Absolutely.
and remembering their daughter. It was very nice. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you never know what people are going to say when you just take a picture.
You
never know.
You really don't. And there's also, as we're sitting here looking at you, you have this screen background of a portion of the trail, and there's beautiful benches surrounded by flowers that are there in honor of or in memory of someone. What a lovely way to remember someone you love on a place that was very special to them and to a lot of people in York County.
Yeah.
So if someone who is listening today is inspired, you're a predominantly volunteer organization. If they want to help, maybe they want to become a volunteer, or maybe they just want to get more involved in their own town along a trail. How can they find out more about the important work that you, Gwen and Frank and everyone at the Rail Trail Authority is doing?
I think, the easiest way we all use now is, check the website, www.yorkcountytrails.org. And you can learn a lot about our work, our people, and how you can get involved. Another way, and Frank always says this too, is come to one of our meetings. Our meetings are always open to the public. They're always, the second Thursday at 3 p.m. here at Hanover Junction. The doors are open and we welcome anyone. And you can also just call the office. Our office is typically open Monday through Wednesday. Sometimes it's open on Thursdays. And we'll invite you to come to a committee meeting. And you can just come and meet us and see what we're doing.
Fantastic. So that is yourcountytrails.org. And have no fear. If you show up for a meeting, Gwen, Frank, and all of the fine folks at the York County Rail Trail Authority will put you to work. So before we wrap this up, I think we all have that special section of the trail, that favorite stretch of the trail, whether it's a certain time of day or maybe a season of the year, or perhaps even a specific mile marker that's special to you. Where would it be for you, Gwen, and where would it be for you, Frank?
All right, we talked about this a little bit. It is kind of hard to pin it down to one section, but for me, the section, it's about 2.5 miles from Route 30 up to essentially to Central High School. And that section of the trail is rolling. It's a lot of the trail is pretty flat. That section is rolling. Plus, you're right along the Cadores Creek for a long ways. And once you get past the open space just north of Route 30, it's always in the shade. So it's cooler in the summertime on these hot days. It's a great place to be. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that this section of Hanover Trolley Trail that will open in the fall of this year, I think is going to be my new favorite, just because the adjacent stream restoration and wetlands project is really going to be intriguing to watch, and there's going to be lots of bird activity. I'm not a birder, but I mean, it kind of amazes me what they do out there, and the birds that will migrate to that area. And I think it's also going to attract a lot of people, educational people in terms of high schools and elementary, probably middle schools also, that are doing field trips, as well as probably your college is going to be out there looking at things that are done either in terms of stream restoration or aquatic life or whatever the case might be. So that's one on Hanover Trolley Trail that I'm really excited about seeing open.
We're definitely excited for that as well. So, Gwen, what do you think? What's that special place for you along our trail?
Well, it depends what I'm interested in doing at the time. But if I just want to be outdoors and just enjoy the quiet, I'll tell you, you can't beat from my office here at Hanover Junction to Howard Tunnel in the middle of winter when it's covered with snow. It's very quiet. It's beautiful. You have it all to yourself. It's entirely different from what you're going to see between here and New Freedom on a Sunday afternoon in the middle of summer. They're both wonderful, but those winter days up by Howard Tunnel are really special.
It is beautiful. I do love Howard Tunnel. I love to be able to go along the open spaces as well, not in 90-some degree weather days, but I can tell you on numerous occasions I've seen eagles soaring across open fields. The wildlife that surrounds our trails is pretty amazing, and it's a wonderful place. I tend to pick my portion of the trail based on the weather, and I always tell people, if you're going to go down on that southern end of the trail, just be mindful that it's uphill from Glen Rock to New Freedom. Plan accordingly. So I like to be on the downslope on my return to my vehicle.
That's good advice.
Yeah. Well, I just have to thank you both, not only for your time here today, but also for your leadership. Because what you and your team are doing is building more than just trails. You are building connections between people, connections between towns, and truly generations. So to everyone out there listening, if you haven't hit the trail recently, whether it's the Heritage Rail Trail or the Hanover Trolley Trail or another path near you, I hope that you're going to lace up your shoes or perhaps hop on your bike and experience it for yourself. I know you won't be disappointed. So today's guests were Gwen and Frank Kempf from the York County Rail Trail Authority. And again, don't forget, if you want to find out more about what they are doing, head to yorkcountytrails.org. And I want to thank you all again for tuning in to today's episode. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to visit my website at senatorkristin.com. This is Kristin Phillips-Hill signing off, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon.